Hello everyone, and welcome to our channel. Today, we're embarking on an epic journey back in time to explore the wonders of ancient India, a civilization brimming with profound wisdom, incredible innovations, and captivating mysteries. From bustling cities that vanished without a trace to philosophical ideas that still shape our world, ancient India's story is one of resilience, creativity, and spiritual depth. So, grab your virtual passport, because our adventure into the heart of one of the world's oldest and most influential cultures starts right now. Our story begins around 3300 BCE in the fertile plains of the Indus River Valley. This is where one of the world's first great urban civilizations, the Harappan or Indus Valley Civilization, emerged. Imagine sprawling, meticulously planned cities like Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, home to tens of thousands of people. These weren't just random collections of huts, they were marvels of engineering. The cities featured grid-like street patterns, advanced drainage and sewer systems that were centuries ahead of their time, and impressive multi-story houses made of uniform baked bricks. It's mind-boggling to think that while many parts of the world were still in their infancy, the people of the Indus Valley were living in highly organized urban centers. They had a sophisticated system of weights and measures indicating a thriving trade network that stretched as far as Mesopotamia. Archaeologists have unearthed beautiful pottery, intricate beadwork, and fascinating terracotta figurines. But perhaps the biggest puzzle is their script. We found thousands of artifacts with their unique written language, but to this day, no one has been able to decipher it. What secrets do these symbols hold? What stories of their lives, their beliefs, their rulers are waiting to be told? Then, around 1900 BCE, something strange happened. These magnificent cities began to decline. The thriving civilization that had flourished for nearly a millennium slowly faded away. Was it a dramatic climate shift that dried up the rivers? Was it a series of devastating floods? Or perhaps internal conflict or the arrival of new groups of people? The truth is, we don't know for sure. The decline of the Indus Valley civilization remains one of ancient history's most compelling unsolved mysteries, leaving behind silent cities and a legacy shrouded in questions. This disappearance marked the end of an era, but it also set the stage for the next major chapter in India's history, the Vedic Age. Following the decline of the Harappan cities, a new period known as the Vedic Age began, around 1500 BCE. This era is named after the Vedas, a vast collection of sacred texts, hymns, and philosophical treatises that form the bedrock of Hinduism. Composed in Vedic Sanskrit, these texts were initially passed down orally from generation to generation with incredible precision before being written down. The Rig Veda, the oldest of the four Vedas, gives us a glimpse into the life and beliefs of the Indo-Aryan people of this time. Society was organized into tribes, or janas, led by chieftains or kings. Unlike the urban Harappans, the early Vedic people were primarily pastoral, their wealth measured in cattle. Their religion was centered on a pantheon of gods representing natural forces, like Indra, the god of thunder and war, and Agni, the god of fire, who served as a messenger to the gods. Elaborate fire rituals and sacrifices, known as yajnas, were performed by priests, the Brahmins, to maintain cosmic order and seek blessings from the divine. As the Vedic period progressed, society became more complex and settled. The later Vedic age, from about 1000 to 600 BCE, saw the tribes coalesce into larger political units called Janapadas, which were essentially small kingdoms. This was a time of significant social and political change. The caste system, or Varna system, became more defined, structuring society into four main classes: the Brahmins or priests, the Kshatriyas or warriors and rulers, the Vaishyas or merchants and farmers, and the Shudras or laborers. This hierarchical structure would have a profound and lasting impact on Indian society for millennia. It was also during this later period that the philosophical and spiritual ideas within the Vedas evolved. The Upanishads, a collection of texts that form the final part of the Vedas, began to explore deeper questions about reality, the self, and the ultimate truth. Concepts like Brahman, the ultimate cosmic spirit, and Atman, the individual soul, were developed, along with the foundational ideas of karma and reincarnation. These concepts would become central pillars of Indian thought, influencing not just Hinduism, but also other major religions that would soon emerge from this incredibly fertile spiritual ground. The intellectual and spiritual ferment of the late Vedic period gave rise to a new era of questioning and reform. Around the 6th century BCE, as the Janapadas grew into even larger kingdoms known as Mahajanapadas, India witnessed the birth of two new major religions, Buddhism and Jainism. Both emerged as a challenge to some of the orthodox practices and social structures of the time. The founder of Buddhism was Siddhartha Gautama, a prince from the Shakya clan, who, troubled by the suffering he saw in the world, left his life of luxury to seek enlightenment. After years of searching, he achieved enlightenment under the Bodhi tree and became known as the Buddha, or the Enlightened One. His teachings, centered on the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, offered a way to end suffering and achieve nirvana, a state of ultimate peace. Buddhism emphasized compassion, non-violence, and a middle way between extreme asceticism and worldly indulgence. Its rejection of the caste system's divine authority made it accessible and appealing to people from all walks of life. At around the same time, another great teacher, Mahavira, revitalized the ancient traditions of Jainism. Like the Buddha, Mahavira was also of royal lineage and renounced his worldly possessions to seek spiritual liberation. The core tenets of Jainism are ahimsa, or non-violence towards all living beings, anekantavada, or the multifaceted nature of reality, and aparigraha, or non-possessiveness. Jains practice a strict code of conduct, with the principle of non-violence being paramount, influencing everything from their diet to their professions. Both Buddhism and Jainism spread rapidly, offering alternative spiritual paths and contributing immensely to the ethical and philosophical landscape of ancient India. They weren't just religions, they were movements that championed new ways of thinking and living, leaving an indelible mark on art, culture, and society. The political landscape of India was also transforming dramatically. Out of the 16 Mahajanapadas, one kingdom, Magadha, in eastern India, began to rise in prominence. With its strategic location, fertile lands, and control over iron ore deposits, Magadha grew into a formidable power. This set the stage for the emergence of India's first great empire, the Mauryan Empire, founded by Chandragupta Maurya in 322 BCE. Chandragupta was a brilliant and ambitious leader, who, guided by his shrewd advisor Kautilya, overthrew the Nanda dynasty and established his rule. Kautilya is credited with authoring the Arthashastra, a remarkable treatise on statecraft, economic policy, and military strategy. It's a fascinating guide on how to run an empire, covering everything from taxation and law to espionage. Chandragupta expanded his empire across northern India, even repelling an invasion by Seleucus the Fat Nicator, one of Alexander the Great's generals. At its height, the Mauryan Empire was one of the largest empires of its time, stretching from the Himalayas in the north to almost the southern tip of the subcontinent. It created a centralized administration, a single currency, and a unified system of governance, bringing unprecedented political unity and economic prosperity to a vast and diverse region. The most famous Mauryan ruler was Chandragupta's grandson, Ashoka the Great. Ashoka's reign began like that of many emperors, with military campaigns to expand his territory. His conquest of the kingdom of Kalinga was particularly brutal, resulting in immense loss of life. But the horrors of this war had a profound effect on Ashoka. Overcome with remorse, he underwent a dramatic conversion to Buddhism. He renounced military conquest and adopted a policy of Dhamma, or rule by righteousness and moral principle. He had his edicts, promoting peace, compassion, and religious tolerance, inscribed on pillars and rocks throughout his vast empire, many of which still stand today. Ashoka became a patron of Buddhism, sending missionaries to spread his teachings across Asia, from Sri Lanka to the Middle East. His reign is remembered as a golden age of peace and enlightened governance. However, after Ashoka's death, the Mauryan Empire began to decline, eventually collapsing around 185 BCE, fragmenting India once again into smaller regional kingdoms. After the fall of the Mauryas, India entered a period of political fragmentation, but also incredible cultural dynamism. Various dynasties, including the Shungas, Kanvas, and Satavahanas, ruled different parts of the country. This era also saw increased interaction with foreign powers. The Indo-Greeks, descendants of Alexander the Great's soldiers, established kingdoms in the northwest, blending Hellenistic and Indian cultures in fascinating ways, particularly visible in their coinage and art. Following them came the Shakas and the Kushans, a nomadic people from Central Asia. The Kushan Empire, particularly under its greatest ruler Kanishka, became a major power in the 1st and 2nd century CE. It controlled a vast territory that included parts of Central Asia, Afghanistan, and northern India, becoming a crucial hub on the Silk Road. This fostered a vibrant exchange of goods, ideas, art, and religions between the East and West. The famous Gandhara school of art flourished under the Kushans, producing unique Greco-Buddhist sculptures that depicted the Buddha with features reminiscent of Greek gods. Then, in the 4th century CE, another great empire arose from the heartland of Magadha, the Gupta Empire, founded by Chandra Gupta I. The Gupta period is often hailed as the classical or golden age of India. It was a time of extraordinary achievements in science, mathematics, astronomy, literature, and the arts. During this period, the great Indian mathematician Aryabhata proposed that the Earth was a sphere that rotated on its axis, and he accurately calculated the length of the solar year. The concept of zero as a number and the decimal system, which are foundational to modern mathematics, were developed in India during this time. Incredible Sanskrit literature was produced, including the works of the poet and playwright Kalidasa, often called the Shakespeare of India, the magnificent cave paintings of Ajanta, and the metallurgical wonder of the Iron Pillar of Delhi, which has resisted rust for over 1600 years, are testaments to the artistic and technical genius of the Gupta age. The empire provided the stability and prosperity that allowed culture and science to flourish, creating a legacy that would influence the world for centuries. The Gupta Empire, like the Mauryan Empire before it, eventually declined in the 6th century CE due to internal conflicts and invasions from the Hunas, a Central Asian people. Its fall marked the end of the classical era and the close of what we consider ancient Indian history. But the legacy of this incredible period is immeasurable. The philosophical and religious ideas of Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism have shaped the spiritual lives of billions. The scientific and mathematical innovations, like the concept of zero, laid the groundwork for modern science and technology. The epic stories of the Mahabharata and Ramayana, the art, architecture, and principles of governance have continued to inspire and influence not just India, but the entire world. Ancient India was a crucible of ideas, a land of immense diversity and creativity, and its story is a vital part of our shared human heritage. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey through ancient India. We've only scratched the surface of this deep and fascinating history. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more explorations into the ancient world. Let us know in the comments which civilization you'd like us to cover next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.